So my name is Claudia Estrada. This is my discussion board for week 2 for Political 493, Principles of Public Admin. My first one is Taylor Scientific Management. So I'm just going to brush this quickly because I know we're timed and it's a lot of information. So the first one, Science Not Rules of Thumb, is replace rule of thumb, work methods with methods based on scientific studies of tasks. The second one, scientifically select, train, and develop each worker rather than passively leaving them to train themselves. So I'm going to use the second one to relate to modern day now. Most companies, not all companies work the same, but basically when it comes to training, you get a certain amount of time in order to train, catch on, and do your job efficiently. Like I said, not all jobs are as generous. Some are like now. Like, that's why we wanted you with 5 years of experience, because we need a person to catch on very, very quickly. So, yeah. So, I'm going to go on to the next one. Gillick's POSD. Sorry. Don't know how to pronounce that. But planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. So I think all of these play a huge part when it comes to any type of company, because every company obviously has money coming in, coming out, even schools, and it's not because it's a company itself, but it's education. Obviously you need a budget for pencils, for books, for staff supplies, for when they have programs like Avid and everything. Reporting it, obviously you report it to the state. Coordinating, the principal. Directing, that could be coordinating, directing, could be assistant and vice principal, an example. Staffing, obviously the office staff. Organizing, office staff again, along with teachers. Planning, same thing, that includes all staff. That can include students too that help out. But I think regular companies, same thing. There's obviously a manager, an assistant manager. Now they even have lead workers, just because everybody plays a part. So yes, I think that's what it could be compared to. Next one, Weber's. So I guess I will read one. On the time. Okay, so number 4. I'll read that one. Career orientation. Means of production or administration belong to office, personal property separated from office property. So a good example was, where I work at, they were taking a while to get me a computer and get me all set up, and it was weeks. And I was an office assistant, so obviously I needed to help the office manager and stuff, so I started using my own laptop. Not supposed to use my own laptop. I didn't know. I didn't really have any. I just used it to log in, to look up a student if an emergency or whatever. I didn't really have any confidential information in there, just because I didn't want to have confidential information because it is my own laptop. But yeah, I after that, obviously the director found out, and he's like, no, I apologize that we didn't, but we're not supposed to do that because my personal things are not supposed to be blended with work. Obviously, they need to provide because their equipment is somehow still connected to, if they need to report something or anything, it's like, hey, something happened and they come and take my laptop, they can, because I used it to, which I don't have an issue. I said if that were to have occurred, but obviously I didn't want my laptop taken away. I do all my homework on here. But, so yeah, I think that's an example. The next one, leadership. So this one, I feel it has to do more with, for example, when my fiance used to work at they were able to buy shares from the company, stock shares. They had 401k, they had vision, dental, medical. They had pet insurance, tons of things. So some of these things, the company paid a percentage and offered. Some of the other things you pay out of pocket. But unions, like for example, I've heard, I think Stater Brothers is a union. So it's just companies that offer really good benefits from what I've heard, for when you retire or, to save money into something. So I think that's really awesome, and I think that can be comparable to now because a lot of companies have done that. Not every company, most of them just, they can't afford it, others because they don't want to, because it is an investment, and others because they've been doing it forever and they just continued it. But it's also, I've heard it's very hard to get into those. Not very hard, but it can be kind of difficult. Not just anyone gets into those companies. Some do out of luck. It just depends. So my next and last one is rationality, Simon-bounded rationality. So this one I would like to share. If I find it, sorry. I search into all of these and printed everything out. So searched into them. No, where is it? Oh. So the last one, sorry. So I think the way you could put it, theory of bounded rationality, which states that individuals do not make perfectly rational decisions because of the difficulty in obtaining and processing all the information needed to do so. So I think this has to do mainly with when it comes to training, from what I understand, is that not everybody catches on the same, and it's really important to keep that in mind and just just be rational that we're all human and not everybody has capacity to catch on. Like someone can learn in one day, the other one can learn in a month, but then once the other one learns in 1 month, the outcome is the same. So I think that's what it has to do with, and that's how I can compare it to modern. And that's my presentation. Thank you.